Remember always that you cannot be anywhere except in the mind of God. When you forget this, you will despair and you will attack. Remember always that you cannot be anywhere except in the mind of God. This little tiny you in the great big mind of God. And you're there in the mind of God. Oh, that's very comforting, isn't it, for littleness? You are in the mind of God because God conceived you. And in conceiving you, embodied himself, all that he is. And so, you are the mind of God, embodied. Mind's God, God's mind, embodied, is you, experiencing the mind of God. God is singular, but God isn't solitary. God is singular in that in the allness of mind that God is, there is nothing unlike mind. There is nothing unlike God. But God's conscious experience of being is an infinite conscious experience of infinite creativity. Infinite conscious experiences of visibility and tangibility, of ideas that are visible and tangible to the mind that formed it. And so God is infinitely filled with what God infinitely is. And it's an experienceable experience. It's an experienceable conscious experience. And it's specific and universal simultaneously. And this mind that is so experiencing itself is what God is being as you. And so you, as singular and as whole as God, experience with God what God is being. Not what little you is being, but what God you is being. Remember always that you cannot be anywhere except in the mind of God. And what all of you ultimately are wanting to do is to be conscious as God is being conscious. To be conscious with God. And you do this by abandoning all thoughts that you have engaged in, all fears that you have engaged in, that distract you from purely seeing everything as it is, and yourself as well. Now, I've mentioned the two prayers before. I wish to see the evidence of love, and I wish to be the evidence of love. And I think there is still some confusion about that. the prayer, I wish to see the evidence of love. Think about it. If it was the 1850s, and as with most people in the U.S., you lived on the East Coast, you might have this dream of going and seeing the Pacific Ocean. You would wish to see the Pacific Ocean. Well, if you wish to see something, you go and look for it, don't you? You go and find it. You wouldn't just sit on the East Coast and say, I wish to see the Pacific Ocean, and close your eyes and have an experience of the Pacific Ocean. You would go and find the Pacific Ocean so you could experience the thunder of it and the beauty of it and the sunset shining on it and the moon glistening on it and the smell of the salt water and the smell of the fish. You would go where the experience was to be had. You would look for it. When you are looking at a brother or a sister and you say, I wish to see the evidence of love, it means you have to do something. It means you, in your mind, must have the intent to look for the evidence of love in them. You don't say, I wish to see the evidence of love, and wait for them to evidence love. You don't watch that notice across the bottom of the TV screen. The Pope's condition is very grave. And say, damn, I wish he knew more about the truth than he does. What a shame for him to have to die because he doesn't grasp that he's the Christ and that death was not given to him by God, and suffering has nothing to do with reality. That's not wishing to see the evidence of love, is it? It's a very independent, sort of arrogant, sort of grandiose. There's a little bit of grandiosity. Gee whiz, too bad he doesn't know what I know. He wouldn't have to die. Except when you say, he doesn't know it and therefore he's going to die. You're saying death is inevitable under some conditions and therefore I'm not invulnerable to it. That's just a little aside. But what's called for when you see these things is to say, I wish to see the evidence of love, and then put in some time looking for it. Spend some time getting your thinking in line with the truth, so that you're acknowledging that no matter how the Pope is seeing himself, the truth is that God is the source of his being, and God cannot die. And he is some part of the infinitude of my being, and I'm not dying, and therefore no part of me can seem to die, and I don't have to buy into this illusion about me or about him. You get your thinking in line with the truth. That's the way you look for the evidence of love. You have to look not to him, but to your capacity to know the truth. And bring your thinking in alignment with the truth that you do know, so that then you might have a moment when you shut up to have the experience of it infill you, which will be much easier to do than if you have sat there and said, oh dear, What a shame. I am so sad. You see? To be very frank with you, grandiosity is you having your own ideas and favoring them, no matter how insane they are, more than wanting to know the truth and turning to the place where truth is available to you and looking for it, wishing to see the truth, wishing to grasp the truth, so that you might let the truth constitute the messengers that you send out. Now, have I said stop thinking entirely? No. For the time being, I've told you, think constructively. Think in alignment with the truth. Why? So that you can powerfully make changes? No. So that the arrogance of mental mind control yields to the humility of letting truth be revealed to you. Because you desire to know God's truth. Why? Because you are inseparable from God. His mind is the only mind truly available to you to be experiencing, and you want to be experiencing it. So that experience is what gets extended as you look to see the evidence of love. And so when you wish to see the evidence of love, you're saying that you wish to be the place where love, the acknowledgement of love, is extended from. And when the acknowledgement of love is extended, you become the evidence of love. And in that singularity of your mind, miracles happen. Sudden shifts of perception occur, and transformation happens. One more thing to make it easier for you. You don't have to tell anybody you're doing any of this. I didn't say go out and sound like a fool in front of everybody. But speak. Use your mind to be heard of God and to hear of God. Because it's what goes on in your mind that constitutes the kinds of messengers you're sending out. And what they will return with, which will color your perception or cause it to become less colored and more clear. Okay. I love you all. And I look forward to being with you next week. And I hope you all have a better week. And I hope the whole world has a better week because you're having a better week. And sincerely, watch how you use your mind and watch your behavior when you're watching a screen that has only one intent behind there being something to watch, and that is to move you to do whatever someone else wants you to do that will make them money. Good night.